Здравейте, приятели на консервите! Имам удоволствието да интервюирам Сам Мелия, който е английски политически активист, политически затворник, бивш за радост, вече автор. Hey, Sam.
Hey.
Hey. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
No, it's an honor. Thank you.
So before you tell us your fascinating story, I want to preface this with, like for the Bulgarian audience, sometimes when people like us on the right in Bulgaria tell our progressive friends that, you know, those statistics where people in the UK are getting jailed for speech like 15 times more or whatever it was, rather than people in Russia, they of course will tell us that this isn't happening, this is fake news, this is Russian disinformation, this is Trump's fake media or whatever. So I'm glad to to show them, as it may, a real life example. So can you let us know in broad strokes, and not so broad, what really brought the ire of the British political and judiciary establishment upon you?
Yeah, back in 2015, 2016, I started a sticker campaign online and designed these stickers and basically made it so that anyone could download them, and with a relatively cheap label printer, anyone could then print them out and then put them up wherever. And it ended up taking off as far as things kind of can do. And they were appearing across the UK, parts of Europe, America, Australia, and they covered every topic going. I think there were 300 plus by the end of it, multiple different translations as well. And really we went on for, what would it have been, 5-6 years without any issue. And it was entirely anonymous as well. No one knew who I was. No one knew who was putting up these stickers. And it ended essentially with a kind of a 2-year counter-terrorism investigation to find out who I was. And that culminated in my arrest in April of 2021. And initially it was under 3 charges, one for distribution of material meant to incite racial hatred. And then there was possession of terrorist material and something to do with like international funding of terrorism. I presume implying that I was receiving money from someone to do this. But
were they like Al-Qaeda, ISIS stickers?
No, nothing at all.
You probably wouldn't have been arrested if they were. Right?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that was probably what the kind of possession of terrorist material. We've had a number of kind of right-wing political groups in this country it's called being prescribed, which basically, if you're a member of it, it's just immediate jail. And there's a number of Islamic ones like Hamas and stuff like that, what's described as a terrorist group in this country. But there's a few right-wing ones as well. And it's not right-wing groups that have actually done anything. It's the ones who their rhetorics become quite inflammatory, talking about revolution, civil war, all this kind of thing. And then they go, all right, you're banned. So I presume they were hoping to find something along those lines. However, after having searched my home and when I was brought in for questioning, they dropped those latter 2. So the possession of terrorist material and the funding. I presume they didn't find the stacks of rubles or Qatari dollars, whatever, and they just went, all right, I guess that's not what's happened here.
They found like a sticker printer or something?
Yeah. I mean, I was dead to rights. It's like my office desk at home just had like the sticker printer, then like multiple kind of half-finished stickers, things I was testing out and all this kind of stuff. So It's like, all right, you got me. So they ended up just pursuing the distribution of material meant to incite racial hatred. Although the charges didn't come for another 2 years, I was released pending investigation. And after 2 years, we kind of hadn't heard anything. And we started pressuring them. And it's like, well, can we have our things back? Because they'd cleared out every electronic device in our house.
And they held them for 2 years.
Yeah. And we run an online store, a tea and coffee store via my wife. And so it's like that all got shot. And it's like, thankfully, a friend of ours just like handed us a spare laptop and was like, this will get you back up and running. But after 2 years, you've kind of rebought the stuff that you need. But it was just a matter of we've just got this hanging over us, and we were just like, can you just either drop this and give us our stuff back, or pull the trigger and actually charge me?
Yeah.
And they came by and they had that charge of distribution. And they also tacked in encouraging racially aggravated criminal damage. They didn't have any actual evidence of me putting up stickers myself, so they couldn't get me for direct racially aggravated criminal damage. So instead, because I was posting pictures of the stickers that other people had put up on Telegram and Twitter, I was encouraging racially aggravated criminal damage. Something which my solicitor said you'll never get, because
was the point of the criminal damage that, like, the sticker damages like public furniture, like, you know, telephone poles and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Is that what it was, really?
Yeah. And that's the mad thing, because obviously criminal damage, you think, oh, you put a brick through the window of your local kebab shop or
like
something like that.
You broke some window, right?
Yeah. Whereas my stickers as well, they weren't even vinyl stickers, they're paper based. So after a week or two, the UV light from the sun causes the ink to fade, so they just become a blank sticker. And then after a few weeks of wind, rain, sun and everything, they're biodegradable. They actually disappear. They leave nothing behind. So it's like, to say it was criminal damage was just kind of like, how? And my solicitor was like, there's no way they're going to get that. But in the end,
they were trying to stick, no pun intended, anything on you, like, like from terrorism to like the stickers are actually damaging benches. Okay, that's kind of a broad range of one would say that they have a target on the back of this guy and we'll just throw anything that we have at him, right?
Yeah, because it's like there's literally no precedent for anyone ever being charged with criminal damage for stickers. And if you go to any city centre, I don't know if it's the same in Eastern Europe as well, but it's like there's stickers everywhere and posters and
posters, like they're layers upon layers.
And that's initially what kind of encouraged me to go, it's like, oh, maybe stickering, like political stickers, is a viable route to kind of do a bit of propaganda, because it seems like everyone else is doing it. You know, my city centre here in Leeds, it's covered with communist posters and everything pasted up on every available surface, and it's like, okay, I mean,
even like in the same vein, like posters for concerts, you know, those people can easily be found and prosecuted for criminal damage on public.
If that's the precedent we're setting. But I mean, clearly it's it's that whole two-tier justice thing that's going around, where it's like, you know, the law applies where they feel they want it to apply.
Right. Now I'm like kind of calculating the years. You said that in 2021 is when they charged you.
That's when I was arrested. The charge.
That's when you were arrested. But the alleged crimes, were they in according to them, I mean, were they in like 2019, 2020, or for the whole period between like 2016 to 2020, or is it unspecified?
There wasn't a time window specified. It was basically the crime is the distribution of the stickers, which obviously went from 2015 to late 2020. I kind of sunsetted it purely because
I'm kind of trying to like prove or disprove a theory that some global events that happened in 2020, like the Summer of Love, and you know.
Yeah, I mean that definitely. We had White Lives Matter stickers up. After that, there was, you know, kind of black crime statistics stickers as well,
That was gonna be my next question, because now we're just saying stickers. They weren't Al Qaeda, and some viewers might be asking, okay, what were the stickers? What was on them? And when I first came across your case in, I don't know, maybe 2022 in some right-wing news media or something, I think that their headline was that you were actually arrested for White Lives Matter stickers. Is that like true or partially true, or what's the case there?
Well, it was the thing where they couldn't actually specify which stickers broke the law, because they were forced to admit that while some of the stickers may have been extreme, they do fall within lawful bounds within British law. So there wasn't any specific sticker that they could say this one has broken the law. Instead, what it was basically, you can't talk about these things while being right wing. And I'll go into it a bit later with the trial. But the police highlighted, I think there was 14 stickers that they really found to be like, these are the worst examples. Still lawful, but these are the worst examples.
Okay, and what, like, give me a few examples, please.
Well, a lot of the focus of those ones was the grooming gangs that we have here in the UK. So those were the ones the police highlighted. But then there were the ones they had an expert witness in, he's basically like an Antifa professor at a university here in the UK, and he was highlighting a whole different range of stickers, maybe 10 or so. And these ones had more kind of esoteric links to like 19th century philosophers and sort of things that said like blood and soil. And then he'd go into detail how it's like, well, blood and soil, this was used by the Nazis, you know, which obviously just went over the police's head. So there was no one who had a specific sticker that was like, this is the worst, because everyone, you know, with 300 plus covering so many topics. And then, but when you take into account the whole thing, it's like it becomes even more ridiculous because you have the White Lives Matter stickers, and that was one of the ones that garnered the most media attention. But then there's ones that say like, love your nation, stop watching porn, lift weights. So it's like, are we considering all of these illegal then, or just like you have to handpick them? And the narrative from the police was basically, if you see these 14 together, it kind of weaves together a story. And it's like, okay, but I mean, if you pick the first word of a chapter in every book, you could kind of make it say something that it's not saying.
Make it like a Hitler speech or something. So it's like every third word of whatever.
Yeah, it's like people are only ever going to see one of these stickers at a time, maybe two. So it's like the idea that it's like, well, you know, if you saw all 14, you'd immediately be radicalized into violent action or something. And it's like,
it kind of sounds like this legendary Guardian article that was something like, you might want to get fit and lift some weights, but this might make you into a right-wing asshole.
Exactly.
You know,
It's
it's kind of along those lines. I mean, from the whole picture, they knew what kind of person you are. They knew what your political beliefs were. Is my theory. And just to kind of close the topic about the specificity of the stickers, what's your gut feeling? What do you think was the most egregious to them? Was it the grooming gangs, but then we will use White Lives Matter because George Floyd happened? Am I just making up conspiracy theories in my mind, or what do you think it was?
I think there were a number of them referencing white people, and I think that's one of the scariest things for them is basically white people becoming ethnically conscious of themselves and voting in that direction and banding together in that way. I think they're very comfortable right now with the kind of the white vote being split between Labour, Conservatives, Greens, Reform, Restore. You know, it's like having it 6 different directions, whereas, you know, the migrant vote in this country seems to be right now it's Greens, but previously it was all Labour. Yeah. So it's like they understand that it's like, well, we vote as an ethnic bloc for one of ours to be elevated to an MP position, and that gives us power. Whereas what a lot of the stickers were calling for was basically a kind of a racial awareness to understand that it's like these people are different, and we need to start looking out for ourselves. But with so many of them, and we were addressing a lot of kind of current topics as they came up in the news, they really don't like anyone kind of poking the holes in that veil of lies that this whole society seems to exist on. It's just like, all it takes is kind of one white guy going like, think you're lying about that? And they go, it's like, shut him down.
Yes.
You know, lock him up, kill him.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the thing. There was the study, you've probably come across it at some point or another, that the group with the least racial awareness, like racial consciousness, or however it was presented, is white people. Like everyone is super sticking together with their own race or ethnicity, whereas white people are, just like you said, going to be discussing and hence voting on, you know, philosophies, different ways of thinking on life, economics, whatever, like Labor, Conservative, but once there's another or several other ethnicities like imported into a society, then they start voting ethnically. And and as you said, when white people are splitting their vote among 6 factions, then
because it's like democracy was kind of founded on this idea where it's like we all want the country to do the best, and it's just a decision, you know, like a train track. It's like we're all moving in that forward direction. It's like you just choose whether you want to be the left track or the right track. Whereas as soon as you bring in this kind of multi-ethnic society, all of a sudden there's 8 different train tracks going in 8 different directions, and we're not actually making any moves forward. Things just kind of slowly degrade while everyone kind of pulls against each other. And that's what we're seeing now, you know, and especially as the numbers rise, we're now starting to see these migrant groups. They're not attaching themselves to an existing political party that feels like it has to, you know, take on the agenda of multiple groups. They're just forming their own political parties and being like, yeah, this is ours, and it's going to look out for our interests. And I think that's probably the kind of the future of every democracy as it becomes multiracial.
Probably, yeah. And I just wanted to bring to the attention of the Bulgarian viewer the following thing, that the grooming gangs, because they of course became widely, you know, popular, not popular, but
well known,
well known, like in the last, what was it, weeks, months, because of Rupert Lowe's, you know, grooming gang report. Like, some people were aware, but you need to be kind of like a political junkie to have heard of them. They weren't widely known here in Bulgaria. And so now some people, because it's something new and shocking and right-wing in its nature, some people are saying that it's either made up or it's like a psyop or something like this. I just wanted to point out that you have been making stickers about those as early as, I assume, 2015, 16.
Yeah, those are some of our earliest ones. The Rotherham scandal, which I think was either 2012, 2013 was the one that really exploded, which is basically like, I think something like 1,400 girls in this one town had been subjected to rape. But I mean, we've had political parties talking about this as far back as the 80s. Some of the first towns that really absorbed a lot of migration, a lot of our mill towns, they brought in Pakistanis, Indians, these kind of groups, and they were experiencing it even back then. But those political parties, groups like the National Front, the BNP, were basically shouted down and called ridiculous. And as time's gone on, more and more of these things have come out, and now it seems to be almost daily that there's some gang from some town somewhere in the UK that gets pulled up on historic sex crimes. And right now they're kind of prosecuting ones that have happened 10 years prior. But we've got victims who have literally just got out of being groomed, and they're saying it's like, they're still going on. So in 10 years time, we're going to be prosecuting the ones that happened in 2026. You know, so it's not a flight of fancy or imagination or anything like that. It's like, these are going on, and at a scale which we can't really believe. You know, it's not just some random rape behind a dumpster. It's girls being groomed over the course of years and then trafficked between towns, and just police are involved, politicians are involved, and it was all pushed under the rug because, you know, God forbid we actually enforce the law against these groups.
Yeah, because, you know, social cohesion and whatever, it's not in the public interest, and all of those things. And yeah, I remember Rotherham and Telford were, I think, the first 2 famous cases, but they were so obscure that, again, either people were not interested or they'll call you like a crazy conspiracy theorist. I mean, even in your own country, there were such tendencies, kind of, you know, they were covered under the rug, as you said. But if, for example, you spoke to someone in Bulgaria or like in Eastern Europe about this, they'll be like, okay, that's either exaggerated or, you know, sounds a bit ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, fine. But now that you said that some victims are coming out of grooming now, what I've also noticed is that some of the perpetrators that were previously, you know, convicted are coming out of jail now.
Yes.
Which is a bit sad. And, you know, I've heard how they, you know, start living in the same neighborhood or the same town, and, you know, you see them in the local Aldi or whatever, and which is like,
it must be terrifying, and to understand the kind of the scale of the abuse and how severe it was, and it goes beyond just a kind of sexual abuse. There was like levels of torture, you know, going on. So to know that these people have spent a relatively short term in some of those cases, you know, people doing 3-4 years inside, and then coming back out, is just mind-boggling. And I can't imagine how that feels for these victims. You know, a lot of them who aren't in a good financial position where they can move away from these areas, they're essentially stuck there. And you'd hope that the British legal system would treat them appropriately. I mean, why keep them around? You know, either kill them or deport them. You know, it's like these people have no reason to be here, and clearly, you know, it's like, is the economic benefit of this individual so strong that
you can just see the GDP in him. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
GDP rising. Yeah. Speaking of short or long prison terms, let's get back to yourself. So you know, we're interjecting with other stuff while telling your story, but your story is just one that's really fascinating from like a neutral observer standpoint, but also really infuriating when one thinks about like what sort of person you are. What I mean is, so you they confiscated all your stuff and waited for 2 years, which was when again? Sorry.
So that was arrest in 2021.
Yeah.
And then took all my stuff. That was 2 years, and then charges finally brought at the end of 2023.
And you kind of nudged them to, hey, either return my stuff or charge me, and they said, okay, we're gonna charge you if you're such a big guy.
Yeah.
That's
for you. Once we were charged, I think we had a trial set for the following year, so it was the beginning of 2024. I think February 24. And I think about a week and a half on the trial, and then I was found guilty, and I went to jail March 1st, 2024, for a 2-year custodial sentence, which in the UK means that you serve 50%. So I did a year inside and a year out on probation.
Okay, that's just okay. Can you tell us something about like the trial, the whole thing with the terrorism charges, and what were you convicted of? What were you first you told us what you were charged of, but what did they manage to convict you for? I'm assuming not terrorism, since you're here.
No, the terrorism got dropped entirely. However, because it was counter-terrorism who were prosecuting me, the trial was treated like a terrorism trial. So originally I was billed at the Old Bailey, which is the kind of big court down in London, and I think my first hearing was sandwiched between human trafficker, and I think the next one was like a murderer cannibal, and in between there was like me there for stickers, and the judge just went like, am I reading this right? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, no, the Crown Court locally can handle this doesn't need us.
So did he really say that?
He was just like, what? It's like, this doesn't need the Old Bailey. It's like, come on. So thankfully didn't have to travel down to London or get a London jury.
Don't these people, like these people down the chain who brought you to the level where they thought that you should be in front of the Old Bailey, don't they feel like stupid, ridiculous, or are they just shameless, or are they just, I don't know?
Seeing the sergeant, the counter-terrorism sergeant who was in charge of my case, there was never a point at which he seemed like confident in the charges or in the trial itself. Like, he looked positively sick on the first day of the trial, and when we had him up in the stand for cross-examination, he seemed very timid. He was quite quiet, you know, because we were able to force him to basically be, it's like, you know, you say these are meant to incite racial hatred. Has any been incited over the last 6-7 years? And he had to go, it's like, well, no. It's like, right, okay, you know, no further questions. But I got the impression that it's like, once they'd started down this track and they didn't find the terrorist material or the stacks of money, they were kind of stuck on this railroad at this point, where it'd be more embarrassing to just let me off entirely. Because, you know, from the moment of my arrest, we were very loud and very vocal about, like, we're going to stick it to them. You know, they haven't got a leg to stand on. So they knew stepping back wasn't an option. They kind of had to follow it through. And really, it's only thanks to like a bad jury that they got it, because the opening statement from the prosecution was that it's like, these stickers are extreme but lawful, and he had to tell the jury, it's like, just disregard whether they're true or not, because that's not what we're talking about here. And the trial itself, it wasn't about the stickers. It was about, can someone who's right wing talk about this stuff without it being considered inciting hatred? And the jury decided no. You can't talk about this stuff while being right-wing. The question then, of course, is like, well, would you talk about this stuff if you're not kind of right-wing? It's like, well, no, you wouldn't. So, but that's what the state wants, is basically no one talking about these kind of things. And so it becomes circular, where it's kind of like, if you're right wing, you talk about this stuff, but then you're not allowed to because you're right wing. And it's like, so we don't get anywhere.
A self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. So it's like, that's what I think a lot of people found with the case was kind of like, hang on. So he's engaged in legal speech. It's like, yes, but he's guilty and he's going to do time for it. And it's like, yes. It's like, well, this can't, like, you can't operate like this.
There's no law student in the world, doesn't even have to be a UK law that will say that this is sustainable. So what he did is lawful and is also true. We know this from the get-go. And now you need to decide whether he's guilty of thought crime, basically. That's the part out loud.
Yeah, and in order to do that, obviously having all of my devices, you know, they've got 5+ years of like personal messages and everything, and they were dredging up kind of like in jokes between friends, stuff like this, and being like, well, he joked about this, and it's kind of like, all right. I mean, I've now got to explain a joke from 4 years ago to a jury of 12, and it's like, you know what explaining a joke goes like, it's like it goes down terribly like a brick. So it's like, you know, and then, you know, in terms of racial slurs, and it's like kind of, it's like, well, you know, you used 5 racial slurs between over the last 5-6 years, and it's kind of like, all right, I mean, most people let more fly when they get cut off in traffic, you know, and especially when I think like 3 of them were basically an abbreviation of Pakistani, which is kind of like, really, we're going to call that slur, you know, British, you know. And I think one was like, I called a white friend of mine the N-word, and then there was one Jewish MP who I called the K-word, but it was because he was bragging about all the migrants he was going to bring in and replace the white British with, and it's kind of like, I mean, if you do that, that's kind of asking for it. You know, but in terms of, you know, 5 years, 5 uses, not bad, really. You know, you know, you could probably find most people would be a lot worse. But that's the kind of thing that they had to plaster up there as being. It's like, see, this guy's clearly a racist, and it's like, and what do we do to racists? It's like we call them guilty and we send them down, and it's like.
Yeah, but like with all my limited knowledge of the law, which is I've watched a few movies about trials, like Kramer versus Kramer and stuff.
Yeah.
Can the lawyer say, okay, if you're accusing him of those 5 slurs for the next 5 years, like file a new trial, call him not guilty, like annul or whatever the term is, this one, and then bring him on trial for those 5 words, because now we have found that the stickers are both lawful and true. Like,
well, that's where the kind of legalese of the law, because it's distribution of material meant to incite racial hatred, so they don't actually have to prove any actual incitement to racial hatred. Basically, all they have to prove to a jury, or you know, have a jury come guilty on, is like, secretly in my head, I was meaning to incite racial hatred.
Right. And so this is why we start looking at the phone and stuff like
exactly. Yeah. So it's like, and even then they didn't have like private messages where I'm going to my friends like, oh, I can't wait to incite racial hatred. Exactly the opposite is happening, where it's like I'm talking about the even the lead up to the sticker project, the 100 handers. I'm talking with people and I'm kind of like, I'm thinking I'm doing this, and it's like, but it's definitely got to stay within the law. And, you know, we don't want to have anything too inflammatory there and everything. And it's like, if I was putting out stickers meant to incite racial hatred, it wouldn't be hard. Like, you could quite easily put some messages on there that would incite racial hatred, like just flat out. And it's like that you'd be dead to rights on. None of that occurred. So it's like, and in private messages, when I went on a few podcasts and streams and stuff, on all of those, and they even played a few in the trial, which I couldn't believe, because I was listening to it and it's me talking to an interviewer going like, yeah, you know, we designed them to stay within the law. And, you know, the rules say don't put them anywhere where it could be considered intimidatory. You know, don't put a sticker on the door of a mosque or anything like that. So it's like, it seemed like the prosecution evidence was exonerating me.
Like, why would they choose that part to attack you with it? Like,
exactly. Yeah, it's really bizarre. But then when you look at the jury and you've got, I think we have a jury of 12 and it's like nine white people. And then there was a Pakistani, some guy, I think was Egyptian by his name. And then some fresh off the boat African, like still had a strong African accent when he said his name. And you just think it's like, if they go into that deliberation chamber and they go, he's a racist, it's like, how many white people are really going to be willing to argue with a non-white?
Okay.
Basically say, it's like, no, he's a white person, he's got a right to say legal things. They're going to go, it's like, well, you know, if you think he's, you know, because that, I mean, that's how our societies have reached this point, is basically white people going, it's like, well, I mean, I wouldn't want to step on a non-white person's toes, so I'll just let you do whatever you want and say whatever you want.
Like don't take this the wrong way, but with you British people, I think that it's a bit stronger than even like someone like Americans, because you know I thought I've been observing like Anglo politics for like the last at least 12-13 years, and at one point in my outsider view, I thought that like the 2020s and the first Trump years and stuff like this, the Americans were also like that. They were kind of like, the worst thing that someone could call you is, you know, like a racist, and now you start to do somersaults and start apologizing that no, you know, like start exonerating yourself in a trial that no, that's not what I am. And you Brits were kind of the same by my like elementary view on this. But then 2024 happened. You know, they elected Trump for the, okay, I'm going to say second time. I'm going to say second, it's the third time. But what I mean is, I think the Americans found their I don't care moment, if you know what I mean. And then I was like, okay, Brits are probably, you know, you're very closely related as nations, and, you know, many politics in the UK are downstream of the US and vice versa sometimes. And I'm like, okay, the UK are gonna get, and the UK people are gonna get emboldened, and they're gonna stop caring as much, like being called racist or something. And I don't think that's happened. I think this has to do with the legendary British, you know, politeness, propriety, and being, you know, not making a fuss and not someone thinking something bad about you. Is there something in my extremely crude psychological analysis? Is there something there?
No, I think you're dead on. I know the kind of rhetoric online and some of the protests as well kind of jumped forward between my prosecution and going away in 2024 to when I came out in 2026. But in terms of the general populace, it's like in private, you will find people being kind of like, it's like, yeah, we've got to send a bunch of them back. You know, we can't carry on like this. However, even when it comes to a private polling booth, people aren't willing to make that leap, and it's something that's been commented on by kind of nationalist and right-wing parties for decades now. It's basically, it's like secretly people do support you, however they're not willing to lift a finger for it, and they don't want it in their name, and it is just this kind of Anglo politeness where it's. But I mean, is it a kind of result of that kind of high trust society that allowed us to become who we are? Once that is kind of steered against us, it's also our worst quality, because it means people can tread all over us and we do nothing, you know. And the person who stands up and goes like, hey, we need to put a stop to this, they're just kind of shouted down and told us, oh no, please don't. And it's, you know, whether it's the grooming gangs, whether it's you know, politics as it stands now, it's like it runs through our society, and it really sucks, because you do just want people to stand up. But I think, you know, we just haven't had. It's that founding myth of World War II, where it's kind of like, you know, who were the worst guys ever, and it's like, well, it was the guys who were the most racist ever, so we can never be racist again. And it's like, okay, but it's like that happened in a country over there. It wasn't even us doing it, you know what I mean? And it's like, but somehow we're all paying the price.
There's worse things in lives than being a racist, even if you were one.
And I mean, it's like reading the reports from those Rotherham gangs and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, you would rather that than be called racist. And for, I think, the majority of the population, they're like, it's like, I would.
And the thing is, it's not even being a racist, but being called one. Like this is someone holding you in permanent checkmate with I will not call you that word if you behave, kind of.
Yeah. And that's what we've seen, presume you'll have heard about the recent Henry Novak killing here. And with the way the police training has worked, this really kicked off after Stephen Lawrence, which was years ago at this point. But there was an inquest because it was a black kid who got stabbed by some white kids, and they had a whole inquest, and they found, actually, the police are institutionally racist. And initially, the police kind of pushed back and went like, hang on, what are we talking about here? Because they were saying, it's like, well, you're being racist. You don't even know you're being racist. And it's like, well, if I don't know I'm being racist, how can I address it? And the system attempted to correct for this. And they've gone completely the opposite way now, where you can literally have a white kid lying stabbed on the floor, and they're going to go like to the Sikh guy. It's like, who's saying like, he ain't being stabbed. They go, I know, mate, don't worry, but we have to check him. Like really treating them with kid gloves. It's gone completely the opposite way now, and I've lost my train of thought then. But there's no way of actually doing it to a satisfactory level for them, because even after all that's happened, to the point where a white kid's stabbed, they still come back with the assessment of the police force. It's like, no, you're still racist, and it's like, we're letting white kids bleed out on the street. It's like, at what point are we going to be considered not racist? And it's like, well, there isn't one, because it's just a hammer to kind of beat you over the head with until you're not there anymore, at which point.
What really jumped to me in this case, like awful, horrific case, but that's something that you need to have some kind of training to see these things. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. But what jumped to me, which helps support this thesis about the British politeness and about the worst thing in the world being called racist and stuff, was when some people in defense of Henry Novak actually were saying, well, it was proven by the body cams and audio recordings and whatever that he wasn't being racist. And I'm like, hold on. We're missing the point entirely here. The point is that even if he was being racist, it doesn't matter. He was stabbed.
It's really bad, guys, because he didn't deserve it. It's like, hang on.
Exactly. Like if he was being racist, if he was reciting Hitler speeches to this guy, this means that his death was justified. This is what this implies. This is what ground it gives, like unknowingly, probably, for more people. And by the way, a case similar to yours, in the same, an example in the same vein that I'll give, was Lucy Connolly's, and she. For the viewers, Google Lucy Connolly. She was sentenced to, I think it was something like 31 months for a tweet. And in the same vein of he wasn't really being racist, and no, that's not really the point, was some people online who were defending her, like people I respect, like some of them were Rupert Lowe or Nigel Farage, who I respected at the time. And we're like kind of defending her, and they were saying, well, she doesn't deserve this for an ill-advised tweet, and everyone was saying this ill-advised descriptor, and I'm like, guys, it's a tweet. It wasn't ill-advised. It wasn't anything inflammatory, even though it was kind of literally inflammatory, her tweet. But I'm like, stop saying that you're ill-advised. You're while defending her, you're still apologizing for a tweet. Stop doing this. You're just conceding this ground. And
this
again,
is something we see with a lot of kind of free speech campaigning, is that it's completely ineffectual, because it's like, yes, they're a terrible person, they've got terrible views, but you should be able to say them. And it's like, well, hang on, we basically we just adopted this cloak of like, we're the bad guy, but we should be allowed to say bad things. It's like, no, we're just not saying bad things. And so, and obviously, if you then take that to trial, and it's like, tell a jury that it's like, yeah, he's a really bad guy and everything. However, then it's like the jury's going to go, well, if he's a bad guy, I'm just going to go guilty.
Why wouldn't you just go guilty? Yes, and one last thing about the Lucy Connolly tweets that were ill-advised was one of the things, and then she deleted it very quickly. Then she deleted it like in an hour. Then she deleted it, and this is again, you're conceding that I'm the bad guy. but I did everything that I could. So couldn't you just forgive me? It's
Mm.
no. We don't do this, guys. We go on the offensive. You say her tweet was absolutely great, you suckers. You know, even if it wasn't, you just adopted the rhetoric.
Yeah.
So back to the jury. So you say it was like three foreigners and 9 white guys, presumably being terrified of saying anything.
And I mean, white people have never been more kind of propagandized and indoctrinated than they are right now. So it's like, I mean, there was one who, as soon as he saw me, he clearly hated my guts. And it's like, well, what can I do about him? But it's like he seemed to be chomping at the bit to go guilty on me. So you've got, even then, if there was anyone willing to stand up for me, and really I only needed 3 for it to be a hung jury. You know, I mean, and then you're sitting jury for a trial about stickers, and it's like, you don't know what the sentence is going to be. So it's like, you're probably like, I mean, stickers, what? It's going to be a fine, most. You know, they don't know it's going to mean jury time, and then they don't know my family. You know, they don't know I've got a daughter. You know, and I had another one on the way who was born while I was in prison. So I think my wife was in the canteen with our daughter of the courthouse when the jury left, and it's like they're all laughing together and everything like that, and it's like, and she was fuming because she was like, do you know what you've just done to us? But they just weren't taking it seriously. And I've spoken with people who've been on murder and rape trials, and they say it's like half of them just don't care. You know, they just want to get out of there and get back to the jobs, back to their lives, and they'll just go with whatever the kind of consensus is. So I don't think there's many people on that jury who are kind of like, oh, this is an important, you know, kind of free speech topic, and this is really going to make set a precedent for convictions. I think like really
2 or 3 guys are going to take it kind of seriously, and then everyone else is going to be like, okay, let's go home, kind of thing.
Yeah. And if the guys who take it seriously are the ones who are kind of like, he's a racist, send him to death, you know, hang him, then it's like, then
the other guys are like, I don't want to miss dinner over now, you know, this issue.
Yeah. It's like, we've already sat through like a turgid week and a half of going through his personal messages and everything like that. And
by the way, now an instant impromptu conspiracy theory. Do you think that they prolonged it in order to tire the jury so they can just say, okay, convict and go home?
No, I mean, because it was done under terrorism protocol, it means they have to go through every piece of evidence. They're not allowed to skip anything. But I mean, maybe that was the reason to go through the terrorism protocol. But I mean, so much of the evidence that they brought up was in my favor because they had to go through it all, that it's like, I don't think they would have aired everything out if they didn't have to.
So just to nitpick, at this point, you are not under terrorism charges.
No,
but you are still under the terrorism protocol.
Yes, yeah, because it was counter-terrorism who were prosecuting, so it had to be. Like, the assumption is, if counter-terrorism's taken a case to court, it must be terrorism. Whereas in my case, it's like, because was it on probation? I was dealing with like a counter-terrorism team who just check in with me every week, and they were like, it's like, yeah, I know you're not actually a terrorist, but it's like, it's being described as terrorism adjacent and everything. And it's like, really, stickers, terrorism, like next to, it's just, you know, they're dealing with like pipe bombers and all sorts of crazies and everything like that. And then it's like, there's this guy who's got, you know, oh, we put up some stickers. It's just insanity, but they're rolling the dice, you know, because I think a lot of the people they pick up, you know, it's these autistic teenagers who have downloaded, you know, like 100 bomb making PDFs, and they've got swords and swastikas all over the wall, and they can go, it's like, clearly this guy was about to do terrorism. Whereas for me, it was kind of like, oh, we arrest this guy and he literally nothing. And it's like, crap. And it's like, well, we're on the hook now. We've spent 2 years trying to find him. You know, we've got to convict him, or else this is really embarrassing.
Yeah, like kind of sunk cost fallacy. Like we've done so much, we now got to see it through the end.
Yeah, and in the end, I think it was really a kind of black eye for the state, because my case was held up. I mean, it was tweeted out by Elon Musk a few times, where it's kind of like, look how ridiculous the state is. It's like, this guy got 2 years, and then this rapist is getting a suspended sentence, and he didn't even spend a day in jail.
Yeah, I think that even your case was even the first one, one of the first ones that like the two-tier policing got, you know, not mentioned, but got mainstream, the two-tier term of English policing, which is like so obvious, so blatantly obvious. By the way, when you were taken 2021 again, was it? Sorry for my
arrested 2021.
Arrested 2021. Who was the Prime Minister of the UK then?
That will have been would that been David Cameron still? Or maybe Rishi Sunak?
Maybe Rishi, like it was a Tory. It was a Tory.
Yeah, it was a Tory.
They've been in power like for 14 years or however.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because sometimes we've made the point to our viewers about the state of the English conservatives. Just pointing out that this is what a conservative, nominally conservative counter-terrorism and judiciary do. They prosecute a right-wing guy for nominally, I would even say, right-wing stickers.
Yeah.
So yeah, conservatives are in shambles. So you, like, the jury went to deliberation, got back, and
guilty on both counts. Yeah. And then I think we had a month. I was bailed for a month. And I went through a pre-trial, pre-sentencing, which you do, where you basically tell them, like, I've got a job, I've got a family, and everything like that, and they make a recommendation of whether it would be worthwhile sending this guy to jail. You know, is he going to commit crime again? And the pre-sentence report says, like, no, it's like he's stopped doing the stickers. You've taken all of his devices, so he can't continue producing the stickers, and he's got a job, he's got a family, and everything like that. So they went like, no, he doesn't need to go to jail. So when we went to sentencing, I was kind of like, all right, you know, they've recommended I don't go to jail, so hopefully it'll be suspended, do some community work, you know, pay off my debt to society in that way. But when the judge came out, and the judge had been pretty good through the trial, like when I was up in the box of cross-examination, if I made a good point, he had me repeat the point so that he could write it down. And his final kind of words to the jury were that kind of Voltaire quote, where it's like, I might not agree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death you right to say it. And I was kind of like, this guy sounds like he's trying to get me off here.
Kind of based, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like when he came out for the sentencing, different guy, really kind of serious, and he kind of came out and was like,
you mean they didn't swap the judge, but the judge became a different guy?
Yes, yeah, very different guy. I don't know if he got a call or what in the meantime, but this guy was not in any way about freedom of speech or anything like that. He came out and he was, you know, you are an anti-Semite with neo-Nazi sympathies, and it's like, and people like you must be made an example of. And I was like, this doesn't sound like it's going to be a suspended sentence. And then he was like,
one doesn't change their mind like going on a 15-minute or however long or 1 hour break, and then he's just like, and yes, and you're like, okay, this is getting real.
Yeah, and I'd packed a bag for prison, but it was kind of like just to seem like I'm not too confident. You know, it was kind of like, you know, 3 of everything, and I hadn't even packed a change of shoes or anything like that. And then when he said 2 years, I was like, oh crap! And my second daughter was due to be born in like a month's time, and I was like, right, so I'm missing that. I'm going to be miss the first year of her life. Sorry
to stop you, but I just want to emphasize to our viewers, because I don't think that we mentioned you were sentenced to 2 years in prison. This was your sentencing, and you had a daughter whose term to be born was in 1 month.
Yes, yeah. So she was born 19th of April. I was sent down on the 1st of March, and I had another 2-year-old girl as well at the time, and I was just like, oh, that's birthday missed, Christmas missed, birth of my second child, and it's like, oh my god, like, and suddenly jail becomes very real in you, and it's like,
so they didn't even let you like go in after the birth of your newborn? No.
It was
you were inside.
No, yeah. Sentencing was then and there, straight down, and then on when we kind of knew that my wife was due, I was basically calling her from the prison phone every like 2 hours, and I think the night of, I stopped. It was about 10 o'clock, and I was like, and she'd gone into hospital, and I was like, all right, I'll let you get some rest. I'll give you a call first thing tomorrow. And she's like, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. And I think I called her about 7:30 the next morning, and she said, it's like, oh, I've got someone who wants to say something to you, and like I heard the baby gurgling down the phone, whatever. But it's like it's bizarre, and I think we had her booked in on a visit before she was even born, so that as soon as basically I'd be one of the first people to see her. And
like
I think
next day.
and I think it was like 4 days later. I think we had a visit booked, and I got to hold her. But it's for that first kind of year of her life, it was I'd see her weekly and see her growing, and just missed out on. I mean, some fathers would say like you missed out on like the worst bit.
Man,
like,
I'm just not sure that there haven't been cases in history where even a serial killer has to go inside for life. But and if he says I have a daughter due in 1 month, they will like show heart and postpone it for a month. I mean, this sounds ridiculously harsh. Like the state had like a hate boner for you.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, that pre-sentence report that says like, you know, this family relies on this man's income to support them. Got a child, another one on the way. And this is what we've seen with these like gang rapists, where it's kind of like, well, you know, he's got 7 kids, you know, so we can't send him away because it'd be unfair on the wife. It's kind of like, what? It's like, no, this is the guy's a rapist. You know? And it's like, in my case, it's like with stickers, get him off the streets. It's like, we can't have this guy walking around in public. It's madness. You know, and clearly it was just they can't handle they can't handle a white guy getting uppity. You know, they have to send him down.
Like, hope not hate is gonna like give them a report how this is racist or something, and they're just gonna need to tie themselves into knots to explain how they're not. You know, this is my explanation, at least as an outside observer. So this is how bad it is. Okay, and how bad is it on the inside?
I mean, it's not as bad as I was expecting. You know, you watch a lot of American jail media, and it's like people getting raped left, right, and center, murdered every other day. And it's like, it's not that bad, at least not in British prisons. And I was in a northern prison as well, which is a lot less diverse than the southern prisons, where a lot of the migrant population is. But I think within the first week, I've seen 2 people get kettled, which is you might not have it in Bulgaria, but because we've got such a culture around tea in Britain, it is a human right for a British prisoner to have a kettle in their cell so they can make a cup of tea.
Okay, that's definitely just a British thing.
So, but what that means is that potentially someone can boil up a kettle full of water and then throw it on another prisoner. And I saw that happen twice within my first week, and I was like, oh my God. And there was a bit of violence but it was mainly around, sorry, the sun's just coming right in. But a lot of the violence is around drug debt. Drugs are rife. There's a synthetic cannabinoid called spice in British prisons that's everyone's doing it. And if you build up enough debt, then you know you can retribution will be taken against you. If you avoid the debt and you don't have any existing beef with anyone from gangs outside, then really you're probably going to be pretty much plain sailing. But like I say, the prisons I was in weren't so diverse. Apparently there's prisons a bit further down south, or areas like Sheffield with a large Muslim population, where there's a lot more violence in getting you to convert and these kind of things. And thankfully it wasn't subjected to any of that. But then there's also the fact that I'm like 6'2" and quite a heavy build and everything, so it's like I'm not someone to be pushed around. You're
not the easiest target they can.
No. So it's like maybe that would have been different if I was a little scrawny 5 foot or
maybe didn't one of the Southport protesters, I think Peter Lynch was, I think, his name.
Yeah, he ended up committing suicide shortly after being incarcerated, and he was in Sheffield prison, which is supposed to be...
Oh, the one that you just gave example with.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know what pressure was put upon him, but we were trying to make contact with him, because the other thing as well is like, once you go inside, you're completely isolated. And if your family has decided like, oh, we can't have anything to do with you, then you'll feel incredibly alone, and you'll feel like your life's ruined or something like that. And we wanted to make contact with him to basically say, there's a ton of people outside who support you, have the same views as you, and think you're a hero for going inside for what you did. But in one of those prisons, if you've gone in and word gets around that you're maybe like a kind of Tommy Robinson type or something like that, then I can see you getting like bullied beyond belief. And you know,
just for context, I think this guy was like 60 something or 58.
Yeah.
Around that age. He wasn't a young guy. And
no, not at all. And it's like that's someone who, I mean, especially after with the Southport riots, so many people were getting tied up in that who they're not politically nuanced in any way. They're just going in there being, it's like, I bloody hate foreigners. And it's like, if that's like, I had conversations with non-whites, and I was able to basically explain my political views and my stance to a point where they were like, kind of like, can't really argue with that. You are being replaced, and it isn't really on. But it's like, if you're not eloquent enough to do that, then it's like they are just going to go. It's like, well, he just hates us, and so it's like, bully him. We're going to torment him. And I saw some people getting tormented while I was inside. There's a lot of mentally ill people. But if they decide to torment you, then your life is just a living hell in there.
Yeah, I imagine. And if there's, if they can gang up on you, as you said, is in this Sheffield one. Were there any like gangs in yours? Where were you? Where were you, by the way?
I was in HMP Leeds, and then I was moved over to HMP Hull. Both of those were in Yorkshire. There wasn't gangs, but I mean, people did ethnically stick together. There was the kind of Muslims kind of had their end of the wing, and they seemed to put them all kind of together. The same with the Albanians as well. They were quite a large contingent, and they just stuck together. Didn't have the best English as well, so I mean, obviously that makes integration with the rest of the prisons quite hard.
Yeah.
But towards the end of my time in HMP Leeds, and I think it might have contributed to the reason why I was transferred to Hull, which is a far whiter prison over in East Yorkshire.
Okay.
Was the Pakistani kind of population was growing to the point where I think there was one of them who was like singing the call to prayer from his door at like 9 p.m. Okay. First few nights, I was kind of, what the hell's that? And then I realized it's like, oh, right, yeah, he's doing like a call to prayer and everything. So, and they were starting to kind of coalesce into very much a kind of group.
How much time had you been there before this started happening?
2 months, 3 months tops.
Yeah,
I think I was moved in May.
Yeah. So you had kind of gotten used to it not being like that, and then you saw a change.
Yeah, and I had a pretty good job on the wing. Like I was heading up the store cupboard, which is basically just stand in a doorway and stop prisoners cleaning the place out of toilet roll, because they'll steal anything that's not nailed down, surprisingly, for criminals. But yeah, I had friends and everything. It was great. But when I moved to Hull, initially I was kind of like, I've lost everything. I have to start from fresh. But actually, it was just a far better prison, far whiter. And the people there, when they found out what I was in for, they were kind of like, "Oh, you're a legend, mate! Brilliant!" And everything. And they were like, "It's like here's extra food, here's some vapes, whatever."
That was going to be one of my next question, because as isolated as you are in there, your case became popular, and I was going to ask you, did you feel the effects of that in there?
Oh, massively, yeah. I mean, there was officers that you'd be delivered mail almost every day, and they were like, I've never seen so much mail, and I was constantly filling up my evenings just replying to people and everything. It was a huge support boost, because you do just feel completely alone, and it's such a separate world as well. You feel completely disconnected from everything. So to have people reaching out and be like, it's like, oh, your case hit me. I've never really paid attention to these things, but it's a travesty what happened, was a huge help, and helped kind of while away the time. And people would send like postcards and stuff, and with a very nice kind of image on the back, and use those to decorate the cell. And it's like just little things like that, just huge kind of quality of life increases. And then the thing as well, because I was in for stickers, everyone asks everyone what they're in for, and when you go in, they say like, don't tell people what you're in for. But the only people who don't tell people what they're in for are the sex offenders. So if you went like, I'd rather not say, they'd be like, he's a pedophile, but like attacking.
That makes sense.
So it's like everyone immediately says like, I'm in for armed burglary, whatever. And when I'd tell people, it's like, oh, I'm in for stickers, they'd be like, nah. And I was actually suspected of being some sort of like undercover prison officer, because of the way I look. Like I look kind of, kind of policey, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
a bald, tall, well-built guy
so
who says he's in here for stickers. Okay.
Yeah, it's like no one gets stickers and what you want about. But thankfully, because of the high profile of my case, there's a lot of contraband phones. So you could Google my name and they'd be like, oh yeah, there's protests going on. It's, you know, news stories and stuff like that. He is in for stickers. It's like, it is legit. So that helped a lot, because I had a friend, he was very well off, but he was in for a domestic abuse case. It was all horseshit by his ex-girlfriend and everything. But he was very clean cut and everything like that. And everyone thought he was a police as well. So, and he actually got attacked a few times, just because people thought he was a undercover police officer. Quite what an undercover police officer would do in prison, I don't know, because it's like they've already got you. Yeah,
it's like you try to like solve a murder by asking someone's brother or whatever.
It's like I know you got the 2 murder charges, but that third one you got not guilty on. But you can tell me, you know, did you do it? You know, but yeah, thankfully, I didn't experience any violence or anything like that, and was quite well liked by people. And it's funny because you've got people who are in there, drug dealers, murderers, armed robbers, and everything like that, but they've still got enough of a moral compass to, when they know about things like grooming gangs, go like kill them all, you know. And you know, if someone is on these wings who is found out to be a sex offender, and they will get attacked. Whereas you come out in regular society and it's like these grooming gangs essentially operate fairly openly, and you've got social workers covering for them, police covering for them, politicians covering for them, and it's kind of like, all right, so the drug dealer's got more of a moral compass than my local MP.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. It's like, what do we do with this society then? It's
That's right. Were there any other people or people that you know of inside in prison who were for something similar as you, like a speech violation or something?
Some of them started coming through. There was the Southport attack where Axel Rudy Cabana killed those 3 girls, maimed like dozens of others. And there were the riots afterwards, and one of them happened in Hull. So there were some rioters who were coming through Hull. And that's what I mean. It's like where there were just like family men, first time going to a protest, you know, it kind of kicked off a bit and they threw a traffic cone towards the kind of police riot.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're going in there, and all of a sudden they're going down for 2.5 years, you know, longer than I did. And they're just like, I don't know what happened. They told me if I went guilty, they'd take it easy on me. It'd be a suspended sentence and everything. But, you know, because of the political nature, they buried some of these people. And thankfully, on the outside, Patriotic Alternative, the group I'm with, we set up a fundraiser for these political prisoners. And the hardest thing is getting in touch with people who have gone inside. You know, you're trying to find their wives, girlfriends, whatever's. But because I was in there with them, I was able to call up my wife and be like, I've met this guy, I've talked to him, I know what he's gone in for, and it's like, here's his name of his missus, phone number and everything. So we're able to help out a few of them as well. We helped out Lucy Connolly as well with some money for a family because she had a daughter. And I've kept in touch with a few of them. A lot of them have kind of come out, and they weren't politically active before this protest, and they haven't really become politically active after. They've just kind of gone back to their lives. But it's this thing where they were made an example of. You know, there's no reason to send this guy to jail, but you decide to send a father of 3 down, self-employed, because, well, we just can't have people getting angry about this kind of thing. You know, 3 girls get murdered. It's, you know, it's just another day for them. But
it's something that would get you angry, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And
I'm just curious. That's not as important as everything else that we're saying. But are these people like convicted of like something disorderly conduct because of throwing the cone, or is it something after the fact that they have said? Like I've heard about some people who shouted something at an officer and stuff like this. That they were.
There was one guy who I was in with, and he was arrested after the riots, and it was because he was on body cam footage. Basically, I think he said something like, what are you going to do in 20 years when this is an Islamic country and a 7-year-old is marrying your daughter? And I think the police officer even says, it's like, I agree, mate, but you know, this isn't the best way to go about it. And it's like, that was enough to convict him of. And for a lot of these guys, they've never been involved with the law before. So when someone comes to you and goes like, if you're guilty, we'll take it easy on ego. Oh, all right, yeah, just get me in and out. I don't want any more disruption to my life. And then it's like, he's brilliant. He went guilty. Nail him. You know, these people are absolute sods. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. It was there's an actual term for it, but it's like violent disorder, and it's like pick up a traffic cone, throw it vaguely towards the police, and that's enough for it to be considered. And it's basically who they could pick up, you know, who they could recognize. So a lot of the ones who picked up, obviously those are the recent Southampton protests, and a lot of them got picked up and charged, and it seemed kind of like, oh, these are heavy charges for considering what they did.
Yeah.
However, then you look at their previous, and it's like 60 convictions in the last 20 years, and it's like, okay, this is just kind of like the latest thing they got you on.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not like the father of two.
It's not like the father of two.
Never been involved with the law, and all of a sudden he's getting 3 years. It's like, you've got an armed robbery here. You've got, beating the hell out of your girlfriend, and it's like, all right, yeah, maybe you're not the most perfect recipient for the fundraiser.
Okay. And so you were like prematurely, like you didn't serve your whole 2 years, did you?
Yeah, because we're locking up so many people in British prisons, and we haven't built a new prison for so long. They're overcrowded.
Many of them Pakistani, and many of them for speech crimes.
Yeah. There's kind of a mix of both. I think something like speech crimes. It's like 16,000 convictions a year. I don't know if all of them go to jail or not.
Yeah, probably most of them don't. But even if 6 of those 16,000 go to jail, that's
And what we're seeing with these new populations is conviction and imprisonment rates far above their actual population. So the prisons just aren't made for it, and I was in cells that originally designed for a single person. They basically just crammed a second bed in there, so there's no room to move around, but it's like hey, double the space. So Keir Starmer introduced like a 40% rule, where it's basically like, if you're not in for a violent crime or a sexual crime, then you can get your 40%. So instead of 12 months, I did 10 months inside, and then 14 on probation, rather than 12 and 12.
You just know that he wanted to include or a right-wing crime. So you wouldn't get it, but this would have been just way too on the nose for old Keir.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a story recently I saw where it's like someone involved in one of these grooming gangs had been found applicable for the 40%, so he was getting out like a few months early, and it was kind of like, hang on, the paperwork explicitly says sexual crimes, unless they've expanded it, or as is the case with this system where it works however they want it to work.
Exactly.
The actual law doesn't matter.
And so and you mentioned like one year on the inside, 1 year on the outside. I assume you had to like visit someone, like counselors or whatever.
I had 2 meetings a week. One with counter-terrorism prevent, which is basically to kind of an intervention program to make sure you don't become a terrorist. He was all right, because for the most part he deals with people who are kind of like, I'm going to pipe bomb a religious building. And he goes, maybe that's not the best idea. And they go, oh, right, yeah. So dealing with me, he was kind of like, yeah, I'm not worried about you at all. And then the other one was with counterterrorism on National Security Division's probation team. And this guy, just the most detestable boomer shitlib I've ever met. And with him, it was like a weekly kind of 2-hour struggle session where anything I said, he would contradict it just to contradict it. There was no kind of rhyme or reason or kind of actual belief that he had that you could address. He was just constantly arguing in bad faith and everything, and he was infuriating. And he was just the worst, because he clearly hated me. And I think our first interaction, I have it on email. I've got the quote on the back of the book where it says, like, the difference between you and me is I love multiculturalism. And I was just, and I don't, and the rest of it is like, I don't believe anyone has a right to a piece of land because of some accident of birth. And it was just like,
okay,
you're one of these,
something like this. Yeah, you know everything about them.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you're one of these. And from then on, it was like, I think the first interaction we had was like a kind of like, as soon as it came in, it was like, I'm not like your regular probation officers, and I was like, all right, you're going to be like someone who supports Farage.
Yeah.
And what followed was like an hour and a half, just like heated argument between the two of us. It's kind of like, you are just the worst, dude. It's like I wanted to throttle him, and instead it's like I'm forced to engage with him. And that's
what I was gonna say. You can't say no comment or something?
No, because then that's well, part of my rules of probation to avoid being sent back to prison are I have to engage with the probation service. So me just sitting there in silence for the 2 hours would be not engaging, and he would be able to send me back. And then I tried, like, maybe I'll just agree with him on everything. And then he's like, no, this is malicious compliance. So we'll send you back for that as well. I was like, all right, okay. So basically I had to kind of like have a disembodied conversation where it's like, right, don't get heated about anything and understand that he's just gonna be unbearable on any topic. To the point where it's like, grooming gangs don't exist. And it's like, okay, but I mean, at this point, the kind of government had said like, all right, yeah, we hold our hands up. We understand they are a real thing. And I was like, even Keir Starmer is kind of coming out and doing like multiculturalism's a failed experiment. And it's like, this guy's like, no, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Keir Starmer is far right.
Yeah. It's
people just, like this exist. Yeah, they do.
So it's like, it was almost like just a depressing time, because I was cut off from contact with every one of my friends. Like I wasn't allowed to contact anyone. And even interacting with anyone new, I was, say, like I was at the playground with my kids. If I made a friend with another father there, I would have to inform counter-terrorism with that guy's full name and date of birth, which is just like, it's not something that naturally comes up in a conversation. So it's like, get talking to someone at a pub, got to tell counter-terrorism. Someone calls me on my phone, got to tell counter-terrorism who
you have to tell the guy, like
yeah.
Okay,
so
what's your date of birth and name, because I need to give it to the authorities.
Exactly. And it's like, most people go, it's like, sorry, what? Like, are you a sex offender or something?
That's exactly what I was going to say. This is like when you're obliged to go around the neighborhood and tell everyone that you're a sex offender. It's kind of the same thing. It's a humiliation ritual.
Yeah, and that's who, like the National Security Division, that's who they normally deal with. It's terrorists and sex offenders, and they have these extra powers to basically control their lives. But they said I was being dealt with them because I have a large public profile, therefore National Security Division. I was kind of like,
okay,
all right. And they seemed convinced that as soon as I got out, like me and Tommy Robinson would be like best friends. And I was like,
yeah,
I think we disagree on some things that he, certain states in the Middle East. Yeah. So probably won't be the best of friends. But yeah, it's with all those extra powers, it just meant they could lock me down completely, and that's what I was for a year. And I wasn't even allowed to return home for 7 months. So I was at a hostel, and I could leave it during the day. However, they also had a 1 p.m. check-in, so I'd have to come back to the hostel to sign my name at 1 o'clock every day, and then go back out again. So that meant I couldn't have like a full day out anywhere. It kind of obviously limits how far you can travel, because you got to get back.
You need to be somewhere close.
Yeah. But the other guys in the hostel, you've got people who, they've been inside for 20 years because they did a murder, and they're in the hostel for, 2-4 weeks. I was in there for 7 months because they just wouldn't allow me to return to my family. And even at the end of that 7 months, it was a staged return. So it's like, right, 1 night at home, 6 nights at the hostel, 2 nights at home, 5 nights at the hostel, 3 nights, 3, 4, and it was just kind of like, and the people at the hostel were kind of like, I mean, what are you doing here? Everyone else is being sent back to prison because they're literally doing crack inside the hostel. It's like, whereas you're out all day with your family, and then you come back and just kind of chill out in your room, by yourself. And it's like, yeah, what am I doing here?
And that's 7 months.
7 months, yeah. So it's like, I was released just before Christmas, December 17th. So thankfully, thank Keir Starmer, based Keir Starmer, I was back at home for Christmas. But on that Christmas night, it was kind of like, and I had to be back home for 7 as well. So it's like, I wasn't even able to put my kids to bed. It would kind of be like 6:30. I'd be like, all right, see you, bye. And my kids would be like, where are you going? And I was like, I've just got to go to work. I'll be back soon. And everything. And then like Christmas morning, like kind of, right, I can get out of the hostel at 6. It's like, probably won't be awake or whatever. And I think I got back to the house and I was taking the presents out, putting them under the tree, and I could hear the kids stirring above. And I was kind of like, oh, just in time.
Okay,
But it was just ridiculous. Where it's kind of like
wholesome and terrifying. This is kind of like what's the term? Cruel and unusual treatment.
Yeah, and
you know?
especially the justification for it was, it's like, well, we don't want you indoctrinating your children, and it's kind of like, it's like, I mean, the children are asleep overnight. I mean, what am I doing? Like putting like, you know, Hitler speeches on tapes and putting headphones on them, and you know, while they're sleeping, and it's like I'm spending all day with them anyway. And also, it's like they're 2 and 0. It's like one of them doesn't even speak, and the other one can't read. Like, it's like, what?
But that's one aspect of the ridiculousness. But the other one is, who do you want to indoctrinate my children if not their father? Do you have someone in mind? Like,
yeah. And it's like, and this was the conversation I was having with the probation officer towards the end, because he's like, because they subjected us to a child services assessment to see whether me and my wife were a threat to our children.
Oh,
and I was kind of like, what threat? It's like, do you want me to trans my kids? Is that the way you'd be kind of like, it's like, great father of the year, he's trans both of them, you know? It's like I'm indoctrinating them how? It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, if you see a gang of swarthy youths cross the road, you know, shit like this, it's like, you know, it's like
you have the talk with them.
Yeah. It's like, it's just like, what? And also the fact that they're so young, it's like, what are we assessing them on? You know, are they throwing Roman salutes at 2 and 3 years old? It's like, no, they're just kids. We want them to remain kids. But I mean, we fought them on the child assessment, because the whole thing was basically, we live in a multicultural society and they're going to raise them in a way where they might not like a multicultural society, which would be tough for them. And it was like, well, I don't like a multicultural society. It's not that tough for me. Get about my day fairly well. Safer than most, if anything. But we fought them because basically for child services to actually take any action, there has to actually be abuse or negligence. You can't just base it on, well, potentially down the line, maybe something could happen, you know, possibly. You know, so we fought them to the point where eventually the child services go, it's like, all right, we won't do an assessment. However, because the ticket's been raised, we have to just poke our head through the door. And she came around for like 10 minutes, saw the kids happy, healthy. You know, the kids were like, come see our toys in our bedroom and everything. And she was like, this is great. Because, I mean, you can imagine the absolute hellholes child services step into.
Yeah.
Like real serious.
Reeking and whatever.
Yeah. Kids sexually abused, like just all sorts of correct shit all over the wall. It's like, whereas there, it's kind of like, oh, perfect house. And she was like, and she said right there, it's like, I'll just close it here. Because they were taking it back to the counter-terrorism guys and being like, I mean, what is the risk here? And they were being like, well, I mean, they might raise them and they might be racist in the future. And they're like, okay, but that's not really abuse. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but
the fact that they would even put us through that, because I mean, we got given one, I think right after my arrest, Laura was pregnant with our first child. And we got a letter through in the door saying, it's like, we either do a child assessment on you or we're going to take your child away as soon as it's born in the hospital. And like, Laura was like distraught. And we had them round and we're just kind of like, it's like, what the hell? And they didn't ask us about politics. Like, these aren't political officers, you know, they're not commissars or anything like that. It's like, they're social workers. They don't know anything about politics. So they were just asking us, like, you know, it's like, all right, you know, how often do you change your nappy? And it's like, whenever needed. And they're like, all right, cool. Yeah, good. It's kind of like
the process is the punishment, you know. That's kind of it.
And while I was away, again, I was away, they cut contact between me and my kids for 2 months because they said I was a threat to my children, and that I'd have to go through an assessment. And again, they came round, they assessed both Laura and I, didn't talk to us about politics whatsoever. And eventually kind of went like, yeah, you're fine to have contact with your kids again. But it was like 2 months there where I wasn't allowed to speak to my children. Laura couldn't talk to me about my own children. If there was a letter sent that said like, oh, you know, Catherine's doing well at nursery, that would get bounced back and I wouldn't be allowed it. It's like, just, yeah, the process is definitely the punishment in this case.
Okay, that just sounds horrifying. So now, is everything fine? Like, you're under no, you know, assessments, obligations, whatever services, and all of those, you know, 3-letter agencies as they call them in the US, you know.
Yeah. No, thankfully, as of March 1st, completely free and clear. You know, I mean, no doubt they're probably looking very closely at my social medias in order to pick me up something else again.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, like a really quick round about politics in the UK in general. We of course mentioned Keir Starmer, who is no more. He resigned. Well, what do you think about Andy Burnham? More of the same?
No, I think he'll push for the left. Keir Starmer's kind of his clique within the Labour Party were the kind of strong and steady, like just very managerial and by the numbers, whereas Burnham's clique is a bit more of it's basically going to be like Corbyn, but without the pro-Palestine anti-Zionist. So it's like, which they're much more comfortable with. It's like, oh, we can have all the left-wing policies without that. Brilliant, get Burnham in. And I mean, they've already begun. I think it's been announced that like savings are going to be taxed on people. So it's just going to be.
And from today on Twitter, I don't know even if you saw it, if you were outside. I think Shabana Mahmood actually announced that she will be doing this. What was legal routes to for real refugees? She calls them. Which is something that she wanted to do, but then due to public outrage, as far as I remember it, and Keir Starmer kind of told her no, and now that Keir Starmer is not there, again, based Keir. Now that he's no more,
I mean, we've had two recent by-elections, Gorton and Denton, where a Green Party candidate got in. Who's just like straight open borders, let them all in. And then recently Makerfield as well, which Labour stormed to victory there as well. So they're clearly feeling very confident that the British public, I mean, they're not wrong, just completely apathetic to all these issues, the daily rapes and murders and all this kind of stuff. Just no one cares because these same parties that have encouraged it and brought all these people in are getting voted in with huge majorities. It's like what can we do?
Do you think that they genuinely think that Keir Starmer was their only problem, and now that they've gotten rid of it, they have a chance of winning 2029? I think
definitely. Yeah. I mean, these things die with the PM who brought them in. I mean, we saw that with the Tory party. It was just everyone hated the Tories, but somehow they just kept winning because they kept replacing the same guy. And I remember hearing kind of analogy where it's kind of like it's like a video game character where it's like or like Tekken Tag, where it's like your guy would get low enough health, you just swap him out, bring in a new one, and it's like the fight started again. And it's like it's a whole new Tory party. And with this, it'll be like Labour's been absolutely lambasted for the last, what's it been, 2 years since Keir came in, just getting everything wrong. Everyone hates them, and then it's like Burnham's in, everyone loves Labour again, and it's like all those people who might have been considering a reform vote, Green vote, just anything other than Labour, are going to be like, all right, I can go back on the train now. The Keir Starmer era is over, and it's like, oh my god, whether it's Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak era, whatever.
Exactly, but when we do a parallel with the Tories, at the end, everyone was so pissed at them and Tory voters at most. They were like, the 0 seats campaigns and stuff like that, and they got rid of them. Now that wasn't good because this is when Keir Starmer came, but. You think like Labour voters are more loyal and they will never get pissed off to that extent?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more kind of generational Labour. I mean, I think they've been about longer than the Tory party, so it's like that would bear out. But generally, I think the right, there's always alternatives, whether it was UKIP or now Reform, Restore, so many potential alternatives for them. But the Conservatives had just spat in the face of their voters for so long, whereas I think the Labour Party, they'll have a bad PM in Keir Starmer. However, there were plenty of MPs who were constantly counter-signalling him. And basically, it was pretty clear he was the one kind of holding the rest of them back. And now they've just got free reign. And now the Conservatives are seemingly resurgent because with Labour flying high, people are going to vote tactically, and they're going to be like, well, who can beat Labour in my local area? It's like, well, it's going to be the Conservatives. And it's like, it's like we were so close to 0 seats and like a dead Conservative party and the potential for something new to rise up. And now we're back in that two-party system again, and it's depressing. It's just like, that's why I don't think there's a democratic way out of this as it stands, because the general population are just retarded.
Don't you think 3 years are enough for like something like Restore to gain significant momentum?
No. I think Restore I mean, it's been pretty shambolic the last few kind of months since they started. It's just misstep after misstep. And then this Makerfield election where, I mean, people were so ginned up. They're like, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to beat Reform and Labour. And it was kind of like, really? And then came back with 7%.
7%.
And it's like, this is on the eve of the grooming gang inquiry report. The eve, you know, this is what, a year after, 2 years after Southport, a year after, I mean, just so many atrocities, you know, the Novak killing just recently. Then there was the guy in Ireland getting his, like, his
the
beheaded. It's like, and then the actual voting populace didn't shift at all. You know, it's like, it's exactly what it was 4 years ago. And it's like, well, I mean, if people aren't going to change their vote after all that's happened, then they never will. And like the grooming gangs thing now, I mean, obviously in Eastern Europe, maybe it's the first time for a lot of people hearing that, but here it's just, it's in the headlines constantly.
Yeah.
And it's just, people just don't care. Everyone's just so disengaged. And that's why I don't think like 3 years is going to make a difference. Because it's like, well, I mean, 2 years since the last general election, we've seen kids murdered. Nothing changed. You know, we've had a few riots and that's about it. But they've been quickly quelled because even those rioting kind of didn't care enough to keep it going beyond a bit of a piss up and chucking some rocks. And everyone just goes back to their regular lives. And it's just like, yeah, it's this thing just, I've just got to hope it falls apart and kind of gather the people around me who understand what's going on and go, it's like, let's start to try and consolidate something because it's just going to get worse and worse and nothing's going to change.
Okay, that's a black pill.
Well, believe me, dude, March 1st, I came out and I was like, bloody hell, everyone's talking about remigration, you know, send them all back, you know, kill the criminals. And I was just like, this is wild. But, you know, things have moved forward so far.
They have.
And then
I think that the 24 cycle is too black.
Yeah. And then it's like, as the time's gone on, I've just been like, oh, but in reality, nothing's changed. It's like the people on X have been, you know, let out a bit more leash, you know, under Elon Musk.
Yeah.
But the actual voting public and the people on the street, it's like there really hasn't been a shift, and Makerfield really highlighted that. You know, I think the difference between the general election and this by-election was a 1% shift right, and now that right side is now split between Reform and Restore as well. So it's like we don't even have a consolidated vote on that thing.
Yeah.
And Reform's not going to fold into Restore now, and Restore's not going to fold into Reform. So it's just like, you know, come this general election in 3 years time, it's going to be the same as Makerfield was, with just them two at each other's throats, you know, trying to get the other one to not stand. Whereas the left side, I think, if it is Burnham, you know, they'll probably be working in quite close coalition with Greens and basically being like, you know, you stand here, we won't stand here, and sort it out, and basically just be a bit smarter about the whole thing. And you know, whether it is a coalition government between Labour, Greens, and Lib Dems or whoever, I definitely don't see it being a right-wing one. And then demographically, we're about to tip over into minority births in this country, and it's like, well, that's the future right there. You know, I mean, I'm looking at schools around here, and it's like I'm looking at primary schools, high schools, and it's like they are brown, dude. You know, so it's. You know, Mark Collins put out a few really good substacks on this kind of thing, and it's just like the numbers are there, and it doesn't matter how much we tweet, you know, oh, remigration is inevitable and everything. It's like the numbers bear out that actually it's minorities the only thing that's inevitable, and really we need to be making hard preparations for that. You know, not just tweeting, but actually kind of moving together, and trying to take control of local areas. That's the one thing I will say about Low. Great Yarmouth first. I think that was a fantastic idea to have a party that is just, that's us. You know, we're not trying
area,
no national kind of agenda, and it's like, no, we're going to be looking out for number one, which is here, and it's essentially what these, you know, these parties in these ethnically diverse areas, they're like, we're just looking out for ourselves. However, they haven't gone down like an ethnic route. You know, this is for Great Yarmouth, and it's like, is that 98% white Great Yarmouth? All right, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, we understand what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's a great template for what could be happening. And I think Restore would have been better off just kind of building off Great Yarmouth and kind of starting to expand outwards slowly, rather than shooting for a Labour stronghold near Manchester, which is like almost minority white now. The area itself is white, however, voted overwhelmingly for Andy Burnham, and so it's like these clearly aren't our white people. They're white people who love the diversity, and it's like, all right, in 98% white Makerfield. Like,
yeah, that's
all right.
Kind ridiculous. It's okay. Finally, about your book, what's it called? I'm guessing people in Bulgaria probably won't be able to buy it, or can they order it somewhere?
Yeah. It's Amazon worldwide. It's available.
It's Amazon worldwide. Tell us the title, please.
It's called Legal, Truthful, Guilty, in reference to the prosecution's opening statement. And it's my diary from when I was inside. Pretty much from the second day I started writing a diary, and as I got more and more into it, I thought maybe it'd be something for my kids to read and for my wife to read. And then when my wife did read it, she was like, you should, this is quite entertaining. And I was like, all right. So it's like, it is, it's not every day, but it's almost every day. And it's all the kind of crazy stuff that's going on while I'm inside. And then for the 14 months I was out, I maybe diaried about 6 months of it. It became the struggle sessions just became the same thing over and over. But I was detailing what are the arguments the government essentially have for multiculturalism, for what's happening to our countries. And the end result is basically there's nothing. And the only argument they have is like, yeah, everything you've said is true. Have you tried not caring about it? And you're like, it's like, yeah, I suppose if I didn't care, then it wouldn't be a problem, would it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking forward to it. It's like, what are the arguments? The stuff that's really going to blow me away, make me reconsider my whole worldview, and they have nothing. It really is just, it's like, have you tried loving it? It's like, okay, but it's been really well received. The prison portion people find really entertaining, and then the time out on probation with the kind of political struggle sessions people find quite enlightening. So it sold really well. But if you'd like a signed copy, that's available. I can send it to Bulgaria. Postage might be a bit pricey, but you can buy that at grammatowlers.co.uk, which is our tea and coffee store, which we opened after I think my wife tweeted that she was glad her favorite tea brand hadn't turned their logo black for Black Lives Matter. And then that tea brand, and I think like 3 or 4 other major international tea brands said, it's like, you're racist, don't ever buy our tea again. So we're like, all right, we'll start our own racist tea brand. So it's like, so that's our kind of bread and butter. But yeah, you can buy that there, grammatowlers.co.uk, or if you search the book on Amazon, it's available worldwide.
Okay. So, is there an ebook?
There is an ebook as well. Yeah, that again available on Kindle via Amazon, or we'll email it to you in PDF and EPUB formats from the website as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Sam, so much for your time and for giving us so much of your time. And it's been very entertaining. And I think that there are many, things that we've learned and our viewers will have learned and found interesting in this conversation.
Oh, thank you, Redo. It's been a really pleasure being on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.